So there's no physical contact between two objects that is causing that ball to actually move. In fact, it's a force that we made up.
All right, it's going to be a quick look at the fabrication of gravitation. Of course, gravity, how it is fabricated, it is false, and admittedly so, which is very surprising. Now, I'm sure a lot of people who took a college course or anything in this physics, they probably have come across this concept. But in light of flat Earth, I want to bring this to center stage because this is a very revealing truth. Because when we talk about gravity, this is the excuse for everything. Like the guy sticking to the globe here, supposedly being pulled toward the center by a force called gravity. And again, this doesn't explain how we are all upright as if we are all at the top of the ball simultaneously. This only explains the sticking. Nobody explains the experiences of perpetual uprightness, because gravity is a fabrication. So gravitation, again, for people who need to be reminded, is the supposed pull toward the center of mass objects, especially the Earth. This is how everything works in the heliocentric model, or even what Eric Dubé said. It's really the acentric model because now we're talking about suns everywhere. It's even galactic centric because we're talking about galaxies now in this fabrication, this fake model. So, but it all works on gravity, and this is the force that we're discussing. So doing some research on gravity, I came across an interesting concept or a category, and this is the fictitious force. This is official academic language. So we're talking about a fictitious force, a pseudo force, inertial force, an apparent force that acts on all masses whose motion is described using non-inertial frame of reference, such as a rotating frame of reference. And here they're trying to imply the Earth. But see, clearly they call these things fictitious forces, pseudo forces. So let's go to the dictionary and see what the word fictitious means. Fictitious, not real or true, being imaginary or having been fabricated. They also call these pseudo forces. What does pseudo mean? Not genuine, sham. These are the official definitions. And so when we look into this fictitious force, of course we get the Coriolis effect, the Coriolis force, which we know is fictitious, which can be debunked in a double sync. There's videos of people using a double sync to show that the spin can go in both ways in one location. So it has nothing to do with hemispheric distortion or whatever. Also, we have gravitational force would also be a fictitious force based upon a field model in which particles distort space-time due to their mass. So gravitational force would also be a fictitious force. So here we have gravity as a fictitious force. The notion of fictitious force comes up in general relativity. All fictitious forces are proportional to the mass of the object upon which they act, which is also true for gravity. This led Albert Einstein to wonder whether gravity was a fictitious force as well. He noted that a free-falling observer in a closed box would not be able to detect the force of gravity, hence free-falling reference frames are equivalent to an inertial reference frame. Following up on this insight, Einstein was able to formulate a theory with gravity as a fictitious force, attributing the apparent acceleration of gravity to the curvature of space-time. The idea underlines Einstein's theory of general relativity. So, Einstein concluded that gravity is a fictitious force. And this is from Scientific American, in which they again admit Einstein managed to blur forever the distinction between real and fictitious forces. General relativity is his theory of gravity, and gravity is certainly the paradigmatic example of a real force. Basically, what they're saying is our current paradigm, which is our it's the general dominant outlook, is that gravity is real. But they put this in quotes. But the cornerstone of Einstein's theory, however, is the proposition that gravity is itself a fictitious force. So even then, even with Einstein and all this, how we're saying he was part of the scam, even Einstein admitted that it is a fictitious force. And of course, fictitious means not real, true, imaginary, or having been fabricated. So to me, this is clear-cut evidence. We're working with a fictitious force called gravity, which we know is fake, but the globe earthers keep preaching. But I just like to add this to some evidence because, anytime they bring up gravity, we can clearly point to the fact that it is a fictitious force, a pseudo force, a fabrication. Peace.